So, here's the thing. Blizzard has made a statement about the banning of Blitzchung, and, you know, I guess this is their kind of a version of an apology. I'll bring it over on screen here so you can all see it, and I'll read it. And we'll go through exactly what they said and all of this stuff. Right, so this is the statement they issued in response to all of the backlash and their actions against this fellow. Hello, Blizzard community. I want to take a few minutes to talk to all of you about the Hearthstone Grand-Masters tournament this past weekend. On Monday, we made the decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and 2 shoutcasters after the player shared views on what's happening in Hong Kong in our official broadcast channel. Okay, so just right off the bat, let's analyze that particular segment there. He made a statement. That's all he said. He didn't continue to share any views. He simply made a statement. Moving on. At Blizzard, our vision is to quote-unquote bring the world together through epic entertainment. Well, I got to comment on that first line there. They haven't had epic entertainment for years now. They've kind of been on like the D+ grading scale of gaming, as their content that they've been putting out is just simply not worth the money. It's not it's not enjoyable. So epic entertainment is a very bold statement for them to make. Again, moving on. And we have core values that apply here. Think globally, lead responsibly, and importantly, every voice matters, encouraging everybody to share their point of view. All right, well, let's look at the first one. Think globally. Okay, well, you're not thinking globally. You're simply thinking about how much money you can make. Lead responsibly. Okay, so when your entire player base basically says that they don't want some of the changes that you put into your game, is it leading responsibly when Ian Hazzikostas basically says, yes, okay, we've heard you, but we're going to do it anyway, too bad? Is that leading responsibly? And your every voice matters. Okay, so does every voice only matter when it's not on your stream or during one of your events? Because, you know, your choice to do what you did kind of goes in direct opposition of every voice matters. You're not encouraging people to share their point of view. In fact, you're punishing them for it. Again, moving on. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. So already we have an explanation instead of an apology. But let's see how they're going to tell us how they're still committed to these values. Our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values. What? Esports exist to create opportunities for players from around the world from different cultures and different backgrounds to come together to compete. This guy doesn't know how to write. To compete and share their passion for gaming. Right, which they were doing just fine. It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment. Mediocre entertainment. You need to replace that. Celebrate players and build diverse and inclusive communities. So you want to bring people together all throughout the world, but you don't want to. You don't want them to talk about what's going on in their part of the world? Okay. As to how those values apply in this case, first, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share his views with the world. Yes, because that's what people do in an interview on, on a stream, you morons. That's the whole fucking purpose. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to show how they feel, right? Which you did. We want to experience that moment with them. No, you don't. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Right, and then you shut him up because you didn't want to hear what he had to say. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong. No, he didn't. In violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Right, so he understands that he's there to play a tournament. He understands that he was in an interview. He understands that that interview is for him to share his views not only about gaming, but what's going on in the world, because it's a public platform of which you are providing him to do so. So you took action against him because of that. Moving on. Every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in the many places available to express themselves, except for yours. So you want there to share their viewpoints, and you're saying that their voice matters, but they can't do it on your stream. However, now, this is one of those things. So they say all of this stuff, and then they say, however. That is very akin to someone saying, with all due respect, and then the statement they make right after that is disrespectful. Or, I don't mean to be rude, but, and then the next thing they say is rude. So, however, anything that you just said before, however, doesn't mean anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. Right, but I'm assuming that he probably doesn't feel very welcome right now. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. Second, what is the role of the now here's the one that gets me. Second, what is the role of the shoutcasters for these broadcasts? We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game. They elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused on the tournament and our amazing players. And then they move right on to third, where our actions based on the content of the message. So they're not commenting at all on the fact that they fired 2 people that had absolutely nothing to do with it. They just happened to be assigned to his segment, and they kind of gloss over it with, oh, well, we hire shoutcasters to do this. No explanation of why they fired them or are going to stop working with them. No explanation of how they're going to justify that. Nothing at all. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message? Part of thinking globally and leading responsibly, and every voice matters, is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country of the world. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality. I don't know why they would even use that word, but like their passion for our games, and create a sense of shared community. Right, again, but you're not creating a sense of shared community or commonality when you single someone out because they make a 3-second comment in support of their country, which they are playing from in your tournament to represent their country in your tournament. How is doing that cultivating a community? How is doing that allowing people to connect in areas of commonality? It's a very commonly known thing that there is a lot of problems going on in Hong Kong right now. So why wouldn't you allow someone from that area who's just trying to play your game and have a good time to just make their statement and then you move on? Anyway. The specific views expressed, here's the problem, he didn't express a view, he just made a statement, by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. Oh yes, it fucking was, and you know it. I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. Again, that's a load of bullshit, because 5.2% of your annual income is from the Chinese. We have these rules to keep the focus on the game and the tournament to benefit a global audience. And that was the only consideration in the actions we took. No, it wasn't. Now, see, had you cited the rule saying, do not share or do not express political viewpoints or statements on the air, that would make sense. But you didn't do that. You cited your little bullshit of, basically, if you do something we don't like, we can take action against you. It's your get out of jail free card. It's your caveat. It's your clause. That's basically how you're able to do all this crap, because you know that there was no actual basis for your decision. You cited that because it allows you to do what you want and get away with it. That's the only reason. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. No, you wouldn't. Why? Because a collegiate American team held up a sign saying "Free Hong Kong, Boycott Blizzard," and you didn't do fuck all. You let them move on to the next round. Now, the only reason for that is because you were paralyzed in fear that you'd already fucked up so badly that you'd managed to piss off the entire world in 4 days. You should get a world record for that. Because nobody, since like maybe 1960, has managed to do that. And this statement is complete bullshit. You didn't do the same thing. You didn't act the same way. The American team did the same thing. They and the Australia and other teams dropped out of your fucking tournament because you weren't treating people the same way. So this is a bold-faced lie. Okay, what could Blizzard have done better, and where do we go from here? Well, I can answer that question for you too, but I'm going to read your response before I do mine. Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans, and employees has expressed concerns about how we determine the penalties. No, they didn't express concerns about how you determine the penalties. They expressed concerns because you trampled somebody's human rights. We've had a chance to pause, to listen to our community, and to reflect on what we could have done better. In hindsight, our process wasn't adequate, and we reacted too quickly. No, you don't fucking say. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all of our players, and that our rules and processes are clear. Okay, well then go amend 16.1 version 1.4 to say, do not share political or religious views or statements on air. That's what you need to do. But anyway, we want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all of our players, and that our rules and processes are clear. All of this is in service of another important Blizzard value: play nice, play fair, right? And everybody was playing nice, everybody was playing fair, so that has nothing to do with it. The only people that were playing dirty here were you. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe he should receive his prize. Well, duh, yeah, because he already earned the money. You owe him the fucking money. That's not a point of dispute. We understand that for some this is not about the prize, and perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. That is not our intention. Yeah, it is disrespectful. It's not about the prize, it's about your actions. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct, right, of which it was. Especially when a player accepts recognition for winning in a broadcast. Right, so he won, he knew that he won, and they gave him a few seconds to say something, and that's what he chose to say. Big deal. When we think about the suspension, 6 months for Blitzchung is more than appropriate. No, it's still too much. After which time he can compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit again if he so chooses. Yeah, he's not going to play for you again. He's already had offers from 2 or 3 other companies that are probably better than yours. There is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose and event. Yeah, the consequence for taking the conversation, quote unquote, away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast is that you lose a pro player. You've pissed everybody off and nobody wants to work with you anymore, and nobody wants to play or buy your games. That's the consequence. Because that's what's happened. You know, you've violated federal law. So this is your consequence. With regard to the casters, remember that their purpose is to keep the event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen. Yeah, because he just blurted it out. And they're not going to work with you again either. They're pro sports casters. They're going to go to another company that's going to pay them better, that's not going to treat them like shit for something they didn't have any control over, you morons. Moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules to ensure our official broadcasts remain focused on the game and are not a platform for divisive or social or political views. Okay, so you don't want anybody to talk about political views or anything like that, but you are more than willing to engage with people on a conversation as to whether Tracer's pose is too sexual or not. When everybody knows that Tracer's a pilot, it's a pinup pose, and there's history there. Yet, you know, you'll defend your own ground there, but you won't defend anybody else, right? One of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure that every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, or any other consideration, always feels safe and welcome both competing in and playing our games. Okay, so what's your problem? Nobody had a problem with the fact that he said that. Not even China has a problem with the fact that he said. Have we heard any word from China going, oh no, you know, we're going to prosecute him for this? No! China hasn't said shit. It's just you. At Blizzard, we are always listening, bullshit, and finding ways to improve, bullshit. It is part of our culture, bullshit. It hasn't been part of your culture for like the last 7 years. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. No. We don't have any more patience with you. That's why people are ordering, you to give them refunds. That's why they're canceling all your games. That's why they're uninstalling all your games. That's why there's thousands of videos on this whole thing, and you in general basically going that Blizzard, fuck Blizzard. Blizzard is bullshit. No, you have run out of goodwill. People have no more patience. You don't need to thank us for our patience because we don't have any more. Sincerely, J. Allen Brack. So, yeah, that's how that went. And as you can see, I obviously don't agree with anything that they've said there. Except the fact that they, didn't need that harsh of a punishment, which I still think 6 months, in addition to kicking him out of the current Grandmasters, was too much. If you just wanted to say, okay, here's your current prize money, we're going to take you out of this one, but feel free to play in the next one, that'd have been fine. Or saying, okay, we're going to fine you $1,000 because of this, and then talk to him in private and say, okay, we're fining you because of this, please don't do that again. And let him continue to play. That'd have been fine. I'm sure that he would have understood. And then this would not have gotten to the point where it is now. But, see, here's the problem, Blizzard. Here's the thing. You do not, none of you, whether it's Brack, Bobby Kotick, Haskostas, any of you, none of you, have the ability to think rationally or to actually listen to your community. This has been the problem for years. And you continue to prove that it's still a problem. Nobody wanted Immortal. You did it anyway. Nobody wanted the changes to WoW. You did it anyway. Nobody wanted BFA. You did it anyway. Nobody wanted you to ban Blitzchung and treat him like a piece of shit. You did it anyway. So you haven't learned a goddamn thing. Anyway, yep, that is the latest development. If you want to read about it, you can actually just find it on Blizzard's news site. I believe it's on, if you just go to battle.net, you can hit their news section up top and it'll load. Or you can just punch it into Google and, it's being shared by millions of people, so it shouldn't be hard to find. But yeah, obviously I don't agree with anything they said there. Their values haven't changed. They have gotten so far away from their original values, they may as well just take that fucking statue in their quad down because it doesn't mean anything anymore. Alright, well, I will say adieu. and I will see you in another video.